IVM.
Now, I know the fan garage seems like a place which my mother fears I'll spend the rest of my adult life in, but fortunately for her, it's actually a great podcast on sports. Something else she wishes I chose instead of being a nerd. Get your daily news on all the action going on in Indian football on iTunes, Stitcher, or even the IVM podcast app. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Geek Food Podcast. Today it's me, Tejas, and Jishnu. Hi Jishnu.
Hello.
Today is a very special episode because, they're all special. I feel like I always introduce
you need to pace yourself.
No man, I should always be special. Okay, actually maybe not.
But then it's not a thing.
You're right. In fact...
It's 2018. Nobody's special. We're all special.
In a movie that we both like, The Incredibles. You have not seen it?
I have.
The
first
first
one.
So you've seen the first one. Yeah. So in that syndrome, the villain of that, he says, saying that everyone, I'm paraphrasing, saying that everybody is special is a way of saying that no one is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe that's what I'm saying.
I can go.
No, so we have
That's why it's a good movie. Good villain.
Correct. Great villain. And in fact, that's what our episode... Yes.
Boom.
Boo. Also, because it's for Halloween. It's a Halloween episode. We're talking about villains. The best villains, the worst villains, the best henchmen. We're going to be talking about all the baddies of all the films and television shows that we love to watch. And we're going to be discussing why they count and why they are so memorable. Sometimes even more memorable than the heroes of the same franchise. So, is that true?
Yeah, there are some instances where I think more often about the bad guy than the good guy.
Cool, we will get to those.
Yeah.
So, before we get to that, we have some messages.
We have electronic mails. From one Minika. I hope
Minika.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yes.
I've been binge listening to your show since the minute I came across Geek Fruit. I've never felt so connected to a conversation, and honestly, y'all are the reason that I don't talk to people anymore.
What? That's a sad thing, but go on. Like, not talking to people is fine.
Bless your quirky souls for this brilliant idea of a podcast. Can't wait for more smiley face emoji.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much, Menika. Why don't you write to us about your thoughts on the things that we talk about? That's cool, right? Like, then you can be part of the conversation. I think that's...
Then you're not actually talking to people. You're talking to...
The binary code of...
little invisible people in your headphones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Then we can be your imaginary friends.
We are, yeah. Like Bing Bong in Inside Out. Wow, I got that.
Yes.
Yes,
that's Who's correct. The villain in that movie?
The humans are the villain of that.
Mom and Dad. No, not Mom and Dad.
Hey, one second. In all Pixar films, aren't real people the villains of the story?
It depends on the people. Because like in Toy Story, Sid is the villain,
correct.
But Andy is clearly not.
Andy's great.
So,
but is he though? Because he's ignoring his...
True. He's more of the soul's romantic interest.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like...
That was
I can't hate you too much because I love you, but you do...
You're screwing me over, Andy.
You tear me apart, Lisa.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there you go.
You write my name on my feet?
Yeah. But I was considering that, so we should remind people again about this Halloween show that we have coming up on the 31st
what is it
October. Super scary, awesome.
Yes.
And
so for people in Bombay, sorry for people who are not in Bombay, but if you are in Bombay, good place to come to is Above the Habitat in Khar.
I'm still deliberating over my costume.
Okay, what do you got? Tell me.
Now, I'm notorious for doing lazy costumes and making them work.
No,
my greatest achievement...
Are you lazy because...
What? It's in my blood.
No. No. I'm not talking about... Are you lazy because... you want an easy costume to just make because you don't want to work too much? Or is it because you just don't have the time to kind of think of a good one?
Both of the above. Not that I don't have time to think of one. I don't have the time to
execute one.
Yeah.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
This is what I just realized. India, like in the West, you have stores which will provide you with the materials.
Yep.
Here it's kind of different. You really have to construct one. Like go to a tailor and
So there's some sort of clothes store right next to my house, and I saw a sign just yesterday. I was walking by it saying Halloween costumes. I was like, oh wow, that's amazing. And it's all for like 5 to 8 year olds.
Man, that sucks.
Screw you. Adults can have fun too.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to prove here with Super Scary Awesome. Please come for our Halloween show. We have a ton of things happening over there. We've got Halloween Pong. We've got Sick Beats. We've got Dinka's games. We've got quizzes. We've got activities. We've got prize for the best costume. And the two highlights of the event is we're going to be doing a live version of this podcast with our good friends Books on Toast, Anuya and Sharon. And we're going to be talking about some of our favorite horror stuff and others. I don't know what we're exactly going to be talking about, but we'll figure it out.
As we do.
As we do. And the other great thing happening that night is a Disney tribute by us, which is me, Jishnu, Dinkar, and our friends from Kadak Apple Records and the Chip Review. So we're going to be doing a big tribute to
your
all
friends from the Chip Review, by the way.
Oh, don't
friends.
say that.
Yeah. They're my nemesis from the Chip Review.
Who's to say there's more than one? Yeah.
Nemesis?
Nemesises. We have to ask Suraj Bishnoi.
Oh, God.
Because he has a song called Nemesis. Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Anyway, let us entertain you with songs from Disney movies because we love those. And I'm just going to say this right now, and I'm going to say this at the beginning of the show. The song that you want to hear, we're probably not going to play that because there's so many to choose from. The odds of you not hearing a song that you really want to listen to is quite high. But we're going to be trying to cover as many movies as possible, and then some. Like extras, some that you don't consider to be Disney songs, but actually are, if you think about it a little closer. So there you go. That's our pimp for our Halloween gig. So come for that.
Good pimp. Well
good pimp. You can buy the tickets on insider.in. That's the website, right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Well
okay, cool. Or bit.ly/superscary.
No, you're good. Quit while you're ahead. Just quit.
Okay, cool.
Now.
All right, so let's talk about this. Why are we discussing villains? Have you ever done an episode where we spoke about villains?
Well, that's the thing. We always end up talking about the villain when we review anything because the villain is usually the juiciest.
Yes.
It's always... Arguably, I would say the villain has to be the most compelling thing about any story.
Definitely.
The antagonizing character, the antagonizing plot has to be the most exciting thing about the film, which therefore makes somebody that's a goody two-shoes superhero or a goody two-shoes...
Make them do something.
Protagonist.
Call to action.
Call to action.
Yes.
Yeah, the call has to be quite compelling to make the action
happen. Yeah,
if the call is met, then the action is just what I don't care about it.
It's funny you mentioned antagonist, protagonist. So I was watching this a long time ago. DC Comics released like a documentary called Necessary Evil, and it had like all their DC comic creators, like whether it's Jeff Johns or Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, the guys from the animated stuff, the comic books, Jeff Johns who runs the comic books, and they got like Zack Snyder and a bunch of like filmmakers to talk about just the villains, and it's just a piece of camera thing, like interviews only, and there's no the footage is just from their own movies and comic books. That's it. And it's like 1.5 hours, like almost 2 hours long of just them talking about evil and super cool, really interesting. And they spoke about this one thing right at the very outset of the film, where they say the word protagonist and the word antagonist actually is kind of, it's reverse. Like a protagonist is anyone who does something to cause change or to create change, and an antagonist is somebody who reacts to the change. So really the protagonists of all films are villains because they are the ones who cause something to happen, and then the hero must respond. So which is like super interesting, man.
Yeah.
And then they go on to talk about like all their best like villains, whether it's the Joker. I mean, Batman is really like his entire, if you just think about it, Batman's entire life's mission is to clean Gotham and keep have this crusade on crime. But he wouldn't have much to do if there wasn't anything, right? Like
absolutely. I was going to say, like you mentioned a couple of minutes ago. I was thinking about it. Like when it comes to stuff that we've reviewed a lot of Batman-centric things. Yeah. More often than not, it's all I'm thinking about is the villain, because like Batman is not my favorite by a long shot. Yeah. But I love his world so much just because of the people he has to deal with.
The rogues gallery,
like,
man.
The stuff that he has to do in order to defeat those particular types of villains is what makes it really compelling. Not so much just what he can do, but it's what he has to overcome that is really compelling.
And it's like, at least for Batman's world, it feels like a lot of it is like a psychological kind of
completely.
It's amazing because like
the fact he doesn't have any like actual like laser beams and superhuman things happening. He's just like, I have to outsmart this really messed up individual, which is really fun.
And it's like obviously we speak about the Joker a lot. Like super, like he's the antithesis, the anomaly to Batman. So it's great. So cool. So let's do this thing. Let's take a short break. We're going to come back and we're going to dive into our favorite. We'll start with TV. We'll do this Golden Globe style. We'll start with TV, talk about our favorite TV villains, and then we'll get to movies and henchmen.
Hello. Welcome to another week on IVM Podcast. If you're not following us on social media, please make sure you do. Please. We're IVM Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This week on Cyrus Says, Cyrus talks to business advisor and sommelier Cecilia Oldenay. Cyrus learns some wine etiquette and they do a wine tasting on the podcast. Vartalab is back with a brand new season. Akash and Naveen sit down with producer Janam to recap some of their favorite moments from season 1 and give you a glimpse of some of the fun new conversations they have in store for season 2. On the Pragati podcast, Pawan and China expert Manoj Keval Ramani dispel major myths about China and the Chinese government. On Pesa Vesa, we have a festive special episode with Hansi Mehrotra, who gives some truly valuable advice on how to make better financial decisions. On the latest episode of Crocs Tales, tune into the last 2 parts of Story 9 featuring a bully, a coward, and a girl with a neat twist. And guys, remember, we need you to spread the word about podcasting. It's one of the most important things you can do to help us out. Let your friends know if there's a podcast episode that you like, that you think that they would like. Please, please, please do spread the word. And with that, let's continue on with your show.
Hey everybody, we're back. We're talking about our favorite villains because it's a Halloween thing. Is it a Halloween thing? So explain to me this. Why is Halloween always about the scary... It's a horror thing. Mm-hmm. And we associate horror with an evil... nemesis kind of thing, right?
Yep.
So that's why people are more inclined to dress up as...
Unless...
Tell me.
Your name is Casper.
That's true. You're a friendly ghost.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the exact answer to your question.
Man, is that why they had to brand it so strongly? Because everyone associates ghosts with people just think it's scary, right?
Yeah.
But you can have a friendly ghost.
Name
some friendly, but so let me put it this way: we have stereotyped these characters.
I know what you mean. So I have 3 more for you.
Hit me, dog.
Force Ghost Yoda, Force Ghost
Correct.
Anakin, Force Ghost Mace Windu.
That's true. Yeah.
Right?
Where's the Force Ghost Mace Windu? We've yet to see him.
Didn't he show up?
No, we've never seen.
Really?
We've only seen Anakin, Yoda, Ben Kenobi.
Why haven't we seen a Force Ghost
I
Mace Windu?
know. Was it because he died in a very terrible circumstance?
He also fell. A lot of them died the exact same way. Both Anakin and Mace died by falling down a pit.
No, they didn't.
Mace fell.
Anakin did not.
Hang on. Mace fell out the window, right? And Anakin...
What, how?
The Emperor, my bad.
The Emperor. That's
wow.
That's why he doesn't have a Force Ghost.
That's
and
good
also
for that.
because...
That's neat.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
Well done.
I mean, not really. Anakin just threw Mace Windu and the Emperor down a pit.
Yeah. Just good job, Star Wars consistency.
Oh, God. That's his finishing move.
Pick you up and throw you.
Pick you up and throw you, yeah. It's great. Wait, no, 1 second.
What?
That Anakin did not throw him out the window. Palpatine did.
That's what I'm saying. Palpatine threw Mace out the window, and so Palpatine got thrown down a pit. Right? It's like...
Bravo. I like it.
Okay.
I like that little karma.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on. All right.
Okay.
Let's talk about... So we watch a lot of television. We watch a lot of Netflix, and we've watched a lot of animated shows in the past. What are your favorite villains on TV, and why do you think... And do you think that they have more of an impact because we get to see them on a long format? And let me begin by talking about a show that I've yet to see this 3rd season of, which is Daredevil. Have you started watching it?
No, not yet.
We're going to be talking about it, I guess, in the next few episodes, whenever we get time to finish
Whenever
it.
the hell we get time, guys.
But there have been some quality villains on the Netflix MCU. I said there have been some quality villains. I don't think that's incorrect to say.
Yep. Okay, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
And there have been some ass bad kind of villains. No, but Wilson Fisk, obviously one who comes to mind as somebody who's, especially in that first season when we watch him kind of grow from this really this guy who doesn't want even his name to be said around. If you say his name, you are immediately axed, right?
He's like Voldemort.
Yeah, he who must not be named until he's named, and then we just call him by his name.
And then he drops you.
Yeah.
See what I did?
Wait, what? Drops her?
Oh, God. Okay. So, there's this thing. It's called name dropping, right?
Oh.
It's when you bring up a name.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
By association, you must be really cool because you just dropped that name.
Yeah.
So, if you name drop Wilson Fisk, he picks you up and drops you as a repercussion for dropping his name. You can keep that. I'm here all day.
It's great. That's good.
Move on.
I accept it. Wilson Fisk is somebody who comes to mind as a villain who has, over long arcs, proven to be one of the most enduring kind of characters. So, tell me your favorite TV villains, Jishnu. Come on. Hit me, dog.
Begin with Walter White.
Oh, yes.
It's kind of a no-brainer.
Very
You
good.
finally finished that show, didn't you?
I'm 3 episodes away
Oh
from
my God!
I'm 3 episodes away from the
Jesus! How long has it been?
I'm just going to take my time with it.
How long have you been watching that?
I've only started watching it this year.
Really?
Yeah, I only started watching Breaking Bad this year. And I'm 3 episodes away from the ending.
Christ, why are you watching Iron Fist 2 when you could be watching Breaking Bad? Okay.
Because, I'll tell you why. Because
I don't want to know why. No,
because Iron Fist is light and I want to focus on Breaking Bad. Yeah.
It is light. It's as light as a
as his hand.
As nothing. All right. So Walter White, yes, perfect example and answer to the question.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we going to like a villain more if we have more time with him in a TV show?
We had this conversation.
Because, like, I mean, everybody and their mom has talked about Walter White and how amazing he is because of all of the reasons.
Yeah.
Too many reasons.
A couple of things that make me really consider him to be a villain as opposed, like, and we know we are rooting for him because he's just cool. Like, he's just awesome and like, he's just like a very, it's like, it's so watchable, right? Like, whenever he's on screen, he's so good. I mean, my flatmate keeps telling me about the story about how Anthony Hopkins wrote a letter. Basically, Anthony Hopkins binge-watched Breaking Bad in like a week or something, and he then wrote a letter, like snail mail to Bryan Cranston.
With a feather, with a quill.
Yeah, saying, Bryan Cranston, you are worthy. No, and
it's
like
been
basically,
so many moons.
Yeah, exactly. And he sent him a mail saying that this is some of the finest acting.
Totally.
And why I want to say that is because of something you mentioned. Because obviously Hopkins is like a thespian, and this show is so Shakespearean in so many ways. The two moments that make me feel like this guy is a real villain is like like a scene from I remember from I can't remember which season, but because I've been doing it in a binge, so it's like all one thing for me. But
spoiler alert.
Oh, spoilers! Yeah. Okay. Well,
it's been 10 years.
It's been it's
Get
fine.
over it.
It's okay. So except for me, because I don't know the ending, right? I mean, I feel like I do know it because of pop culture and everything. But one of my favorite things is where Jesse in this season, he's got this girlfriend who's got a son, and and the son gets poisoned, right? And the whole arc is Jesse convinced that it is.
This is when Jesse is dating Jessica Jones, right?
Not Jessica Jones.
Oh, the which girlfriend?
This is the girl who has a son.
Which girl, remind me.
She's the Latina girl, and he's been seeing her, and she has a son.
Yes, what's her name? It's literally been like 8 years since I've seen that.
I can't remember, but she has a son.
Anyway,
okay,
sure.
And that son basically gets poisoned by picking up something and eating it or something.
Ricin?
The ricin, yeah. So the ricin, right? And he picks up, he eats it, and he gets poisoned, and Jesse is convinced that it's Walter. Okay, and he comes and
they have a showdown in the living room, right?
It's a huge showdown where he's gonna kill him, and he's just like, "Don't you see that this is exactly what Gus Fring wants? He wants to kind of divide us so that he can win this battle,
Gus.
right?" And it's so genius because, like, for the whole kind of arc, you're just like, "Shit, that is genius." And Gus is very capable of doing something like that until you realize, right in the last scene of the last episode of the whole season, is that it is Walter, and he's just done this so that he can get Jesse on his side to kind of, and that is like it's like Joker level.
It is
of like thinking.
It is.
It's
so the thing,
unbelievable.
the thing that's most compelling about Walter White that made him stand out to me is the fact that he is incredibly sensible with everything he does, even when it's wrong.
Yeah,
you completely understand every motivation and you empathize with it. Like, yes, he's done the wrong thing to get to help his his kid who's horribly handicapped. He's doing the horrible thing to like.
No,
to
but
get
it's about his cancer.
Yeah, between the cancer, between his kid, between keeping his marriage together, all these things he's trying to do. It all makes sense. It's rarely ever. It's almost never.
Yeah, it's kind of the obvious answer for him.
Yeah,
like, this is what I need.
It's never over the top. It's always like, yeah, I could see that. Like, I get where he's coming from. Like, it's never irrational. Yeah. It's never just evil. It's always like good intention. He's
well thought out. Yeah.
He's not a bad guy. He's a villain, but he's not a bad guy. He's doing horrible things, but he doesn't. For like at least the first season and a half, he's doing horrible things with good intent.
Yeah, of
which
course.
is just the weirdest.
Yeah, because
conundrum.
he has to. He has no other choice. I mean, the thing with Jessica Jones even is with Kristen Ritter's character in the third season, I think, is just, I mean, I guess we can talk about it, but like, there's a scene like, basically, Jesse's, like he's now like he's an addict, he's like hopped up on heroin, and he's got this girlfriend who's an enabler, and there's a moment like which comes like towards the end of that season where, she kind of chokes, they're both like super high and they're passed out, and she kind of chokes, she starts to like throw up, and Walter's there to kind of stop stop it from happening or turn her on her side or whatever, but he just doesn't do it because he knows that if he intervenes, Jesse's going to continue down this path.
Yep.
And he's going to lose him.
Yep.
And he does care for him. Like that, you kind of understand that later on. And he does this, he stops somebody from living.
He just watches somebody die.
He just watches someone die.
Again, like just
it's brilliant.
From a plot standpoint, that's just such a brilliant move because it's his negligence, his deliberate negligence makes him the villain. But he's not responsible for it.
He's not. It's not his job.
problem.
It's not his problem.
It's not his problem. He can that's just
and like to best somebody, a character who even Gus Fring is like one of the best villains. Even within this show, he's one of the best villains. And to best that guy.
Nobody does stoic like that. Yeah. Like, seriously.
His final...
He just has to stand there for me to feel like, what?
I'm scared, yeah. And that's why he's the one who knocks, right? Like, he bests that character. Like, he defeats him. And you're just like, no, that this guy is he's like the best there is. Anyway, so yeah, Walter White, definitely. I was going to talk about a show that we both love, which is Rebels, and talk about, Thrawn and I know,
Thrawn is very Gus.
He is very Gus because he's a
man of few words,
manipulator, superb man. Like and like I know, like some of his arcs ended like pretty weirdly. Like and we don't know, at the end of Rebels, we also don't know his fate because he's such a good character to lose. Like nobody wants to lose him. Yeah. But his arc in I want to say the third season is superb. Like because he wins that entire season. Like he's introduced in the third season as this new commander who's kind of because Darth Vader has had enough because he's just had an emotional ending in season 2, and Thrawn is such a beloved character from the books which are not canon anymore, and this is their way to kind of bring him back into canon.
The season 3 ending, just reminded me, that was the battle on Lothal?
No, on Athlon, which is their last base before coming back.
That's where Thrawn does go down on the ground with the troops.
Yeah,
and he's wearing the funny helmet.
He destroys all of them.
Yeah,
he basically he figures out everything, and he just like lays waste to everyone, and they just realize that it's the same theme that Last Jedi has almost, where it's just like, this is something, it's like a hit we have to take so that we can do something better later on. So they just like accept it. They're just like, well, Athlon is lost. Let's get out of here. And that's only because Thrawn is so decisive in his victory. And I just think, man, the guy who plays him, Jason Isaac?
Yep.
Yeah. This guy, Malfoy's dad's brother. Yeah.
Malfoy's dad's brother?
Malfoy is Jason Isaac. He plays in Sherlock season 3 of series 3 of Sherlock. He's the villain, or what's his name? With M?
Moriarty?
Not Moriarty. Yes. The other guy, the guy who...
yeah. The smart dude.
The smart guy.
Yeah.
The newspaper guy, yeah?
Yes.
So same actor.
Sure.
And he is fantastic at this like kind of role. So so Rebels definitely...
Slow talking British voices go a very long way for villainy.
Yeah. Is that a thing?
It's very much a thing. Look at, what's his face? Grand Moff Tarkin.
Mm-hmm. They've always had like strong British villains. Why is that? Even Palpatine, like
Shakespearean. It
is sinister.
Command of the language to like. They don't do anything, right?
You can't take an American villain seriously or what?
I mean, so that's where Walter White comes in. He does a similar thing.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to do
gravitas.
much. It's gravitas. You just have to stand there, deliver a monologue, and scare the tits out of people without actually like going guns blazing and like blowing up the place. Nice. That's boring. Anybody can like pull the trigger, but can you like deliver these lines and like really kill it?
Like monologuing,
Monologuing, much like, have you ever heard what Sam Jackson said? It's either Sam Jackson or Harrison Ford. I forget. I'm getting them mixed up in my head. I think it's Harrison Ford. Said, you can... What makes me worth all the money and time that people have invested in me and putting my face up all over the place, is you can write these lines all day, but can you say it like I say it?
That's true.
It's like, it's true. Like,
that's why you pay the big bucks for these guys, man.
Exactly. Like, you just... everything Sam Jackson says in every Tarantino movie is so gregariously over the top that if anybody tried to do it...
It doesn't work,
it would just be cartoonish. And he maintains the cartoonish, but he keeps it like in cartoon villainy almost, but even when he's a protagonist.
And it's also like with every movie that they add to their, pantheon of films, right? Yeah. The more you're convinced, right? Like, because you're so, like, you're so in tune with what this character is capable of. That's why you know that the next film that this person does, you're going to be like, oh, cool. I get it. Like, you're outside the universe of the film, you still understand like that. That's what this person can deliver. Yeah. All right, cool. So, any last few TV villains before we move on to the big guys, the Hollywood guys, the movie guys? No?
Is there any villain for you that has overshadowed the rest of the show, in which you have trouble remembering anybody but the villain?
On television? I don't know. I feel like most of my television watching has been mostly like drama or what have you. I don't know if you've seen there's a show called Masters of Sex, which is about Martin Sheen kind of as William Masters, the guy who wrote the book on sex with this woman. And
stop all the sex facts and finish Breaking Bad.
God,
Please.
it's such a good show,
Please.
though. Yeah. 3 episodes.
3
left.
episodes. Just
I'm
enough.
by my time.
You don't have to be a master of sex. Just finish Breaking Bad.
It's such a
and
good
then-
show, though. You gotta watch that. But anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to. And I was talking about Master of Sex because Martin Sheen plays a character who is very both.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. Anyway. Moving on. It's time for the movie.
So, here's the thing. The Joker has been seen in movie and in TV extensively.
Yes,
he's
that's
one of the
true.
few that we get
And
really
he's
good representations
on
of in
both. Yeah.
Do you have
very
a
true.
preference?
I feel like we've got one more than the other. Obviously, we've got more Mark Hamill. And it's not just Mark Hamill as the Joker on TV. He's also been in the Arkham series, which is as
Phenomenal.
good as
Absolutely.
anything. So I want to say that Mark Hamill obviously has my... I mean, he
Has his
can't
what?
fight Luke Skywalker. Anyway, but...
You punch right through him.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. This is true. But yeah, so I think Mark Hamill definitely. But I think maybe it makes Heath Ledger's Joker performance even more special that it's so isolated and so minimal.
Yeah.
Like that's all we'll ever get of him being the Joker, and that's it.
Hot on the heels of that, though, is a bunch of set leaks from the new movie. Have you seen? Heard about that?
I just saw one photograph. That's
Of
it.
what?
I just saw. I saw a photograph of Joaquin Phoenix walking down a subway kind of thing. That's like basically.
Walking.
Yeah.
So
And it looks pretty good.
It looks great. There's another one that happened just this past week of the Batmobile.
What?
So they have footage of
Wait,
of,
what?
Not just the Batmobile. This is the Adam West Batmobile.
In the movie,
There is
in the
video.
Joker movie.
There is video out there of the Adam West Batmobile on the back of a truck
Wait a second.
being wheeled off somewhere, and we don't know, Jack, if it's in if it's mobile, if it's just a showpiece, what it
is this DC's way of reintroducing a new Batman?
I am so pumped.
Oh, that's exciting.
Because Todd Phillips has basically broken the mold completely. He's like,
Yeah,
screw
I love it.
I'm doing what the hell I want, and I am all for it.
That's so cool.
That is really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I dig that.
So now we're going to get, potentially, just imagine this, because to answer that question of do you prefer the TV Joker or the movie Joker, you're going to get a movie Joker that might live in a world where he...
Is Cesar Romero's Joker like that? Adam West Joker?
sort of like, one speculation out there is that this Joker, what's his name, Arthur something? No, not Arthur.
Oh, for this?
The Todd Phillips Joker.
Oh, he has a name?
He's got a different name.
Oh, it's not Jack Napier or...
No. It's a completely separate thing, which is doubly exciting. So whatever, this Joaquin Phoenix Joker might be in a world where the Batman Adam West show is a show that exists and he has seen it. That is one theory.
Oh,
I don't know.
that's so dope.
It's pretty loose. It got me
That's
really excited.
nuts.
Like the fact checking for that is pretty weak because all they are going off of is the fact that
Such a good idea,
there
though.
is a Batmobile from Adam West in his movie.
So that would be nuts because Batman doesn't really exist. He's just on a show.
Right?
And this guy is inspired by that
Right?
and becomes a Joker. Oh, dude, that's nuts.
You know what this plot is exactly like?
Right.
Janam, does this remind you of a movie that we talked about before? Human Centipede 2. This is the exact same plot.
Yes, this is true.
One evil dude watches a movie.
And he
gets
watches
excited.
a human centipede, right?
Yes.
And then
he jacks off with sandpaper over Human Centipede 1.
What?
We talked about this.
Oh
Go back
my
and listen
God.
to that.
I
It was a good
could
episode.
not.
But so this is the same thing in which potentially Joaquin Phoenix might see Adam West and be like, oh, I like that guy. Oh no, I like Cesar Romero better. I could do that for Halloween this year.
That's nuts.
On
That's
October 31st.
really whack, by
At
the
Above
way.
the Habitat at Super Scary Awesome.
Very cool.
See?
Very cool. I dig it. I wanted to talk about, obviously, there are a few names that come to mind almost immediately. Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards. I know
My
it's not
God.
in our... But it is alternate history.
I will talk about Inglourious Bastards
That is,
till my dying
I
breath.
mean, of course, it's definitely his best film for me.
It's just-
straight up, it's a masterpiece.
Absolute.
And that is
such a beautiful film.
He won the Oscar, right, for it?
Did he?
Yeah,
I
he
don't
did.
know.
Yeah, he did.
For what?
For Christoph Waltz won for Hans Landa.
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
for Best Supporting, right?
yeah. Man.
Jesus Christ. Holy hell.
To really make people fear like a villain who can make people
same thing.
scare
Just
you.
that opening scene of just seeing him sitting
God.
down and drinking milk.
Yeah.
Why is drinking milk so scary?
It's crazy good.
I love that man.
Yeah.
But the exact opposite,
Which
the
is?
Green Hornet. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it.
With Seth Rogen and Christoph Waltz.
Oh, he's
Yes.
in that. Yes, this is true. He's been a couple of villains, man. He's Blofeld in Blofeld from James Bond. James Bond villain.
I forgot the name. That was from Scepter, right?
Spectre.
Spectre. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good in that. But and I think the movie's quite underrated, actually.
It went under my radar.
I
saw it.
Pretty good.
But
watch
I've
it again.
Completely forgotten it.
Not bad at all. As a very old-fashioned kind of James Bond film, really good. Like quite good. Let's talk about some other villains. What are your favorite movie villains, man? I actually wanted to bring up one because I was asking like a few people while I was on my way back home yesterday. I was like, hey, what do you think about this? Best villains and stuff. And a couple of my friends said that some of the best villains are the ones that are conflicted villains, like people who don't know whether they want to be villains or not. And Kylo Ren's name was brought up, which I thought was quite interesting because Kylo Ren is fascinating. He's not a straight up. I mean, he is a straight up villain. Like he's just kill.
He has tantrums.
But like he has tantrums, but very cool because super conflicted because of family tree vibes.
Yeah.
So that's great, and I think Kylo Ren is really good.
He's a great villain. I have no beef with Kylo Ren.
In fact, his agenda in Last Jedi is like arguably one of my favorites.
Solid.
The kill the past thing is like it's so meta. It works on 100 levels.
I have no beef whatsoever with Kylo Ren.
Yeah, Adam Driver, man, kick-ass guy, super good. And obviously another villain that was brought up was Thanos because I mean he's so effing good. But here's my pick. Favorite Marvel villain, give me, and I'll tell you mine.
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
Jesus, I need a minute. You go.
I think my favorite is Zemo, man. Like, and here's why. Okay, I think it's because he's the most understated villain.
Yes.
And he has a good like reasoning. His whole family was killed. But here's the thing. None of this would have happened, what we're witnessing now in the Marvel Universe, if it was not for Zemo. Like, Zemo is the one who has created the most amount of change for the entire universe. Because, like, he's the one who split up the Avengers. His goal was not to, like most people think it's like to steal money or to burn down an empire like Ra's al Ghul, etc. Or break economies, This guy's one goal was like a personal vendetta against a group of people. And his best way to kind of destroy them was not to kill them, was to pit them against each other. And I think that is so underrated as a goal for a villain. That's fantastic, man. I think that was brilliant. I
concur. It is, it is like one of, if not my favorite film in the franchise.
Yeah, definitely.
But
who's your favorite Marvel villain, man?
I don't know. It's not Zemo because what I love about the movie is, yes, I agree completely with everything you said, but the villainy in that movie comes out for me like in a much more interesting form of like Tony's negative points and Cap's negative points. So it's like true. By their powers combined, they make one great villain. Yeah. And so that's true. That balancing act is just beautiful to watch.
But Tony's kind of the villain.
He is,
solid.
No, this is a really simple question that I'm having a lot more trouble with than I should.
We all know Marvel has had like some problem with their villains, but they've kind of been correcting it like now with, like Killmonger is definitely one that people talk about a lot because of the effect of Black Panther. But like for me, there is a good like idea in his villainy.
Right.
Like, everyone has to have a good idea.
I mean, I think we've talked about this on the episode. Like how that movie landed with me. It was just like it's good. It's a good movie.
Not great.
It's not great. It's good. Likewise, same sentiment for Killmonger. Good, but not.
What about an unpopular opinion? Mandarin.
Yeah, no.
What? He's so good though. Like using the face of somebody else to kind of conduct terrorism. Solid. Really cool. But yeah,
Christ alive, I can't think of anybody. This
is that because they're not that great?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have that great. Well, Thanos is like up there. Yeah. It's pretty good.
He's up there, but what really helps Thanos is the long game that they've planted. The fact that he's been around and aware of goings on for the last 18 years puts him at a higher place of power in our minds when we first see him. Yeah. As opposed to all other villains who are built up literally from the first frame that they walk onto. That's where like, okay, now who's this guy? But when you see Thanos, he's already like defeated that entire ship that Thor's on. Yeah. And you've heard so much about him. You're like, oh.
First scene, he's just like, boom, you two guys are dead.
Yeah, like you don't have to. The thing is, we don't get to see him prove to us that he can beat up Thor. We just are given the fact that he can, and we've heard about it for 18 years. Like, well, okay, I believe you because Thor is clearly a bloody pulp next to him.
True,
you know what I mean? It's like he has that unfair advantage, which is earned. Yeah. It's earned advantage.
But he doesn't go toe-to-toe with Thor yet.
Like, we don't see that happen. Oh, well, we do see it happen, and Thor beats him. And Thor beat him. Yeah. So I don't have a good answer because there isn't a good one for me. Like, there is no super strong.
Let me flip that. Yeah. DC villains. Of all DC movies.
I mean, yeah, it's the Joker.
It's the Joker, yeah.
But I mean, that's also...
They're all good.
That's no fun because it's so easy.
The Nolan films all have memorable villains, man. Like Liam Neeson to Tom Hardy, like all of them are pretty damn good. Like... They all have like very they're so quotable. I think that's like a really good.
I've rewatched the isolated scene, the the interrogation scene from The Dark Knight a million times. Have you seen, you guys should definitely look this up, Tommy Wiseau and, what's his face?
The other dude.
The other guy. Tommy Wiseau and his best friend, the other guy.
Sam something? No, I can't remember. But yeah,
whatever.
they recreate this. Mark.
So Tommy Wiseau and Mark from The Room recreated, shot for shot, the interrogation scene of The Dark Knight.
That's brilliant.
And it is just amazing. And I think what it proved to me was that a script written that well, especially when you execute it with the same like DP work of like making sure the shots are done the exact same.
Yeah.
A script that's written so well can't be messed up beyond a point. Even if you're as bad an actor as Tommy Wiseau, if you give him that script and you handle it and you direct it the same way, so like you're shooting it in the same fashion,
exactly the same way,
it's not going to be worse than a certain benchmark. And it's still, it landed well enough that I would have gone like,
they made a serious attempt at it.
Honestly, like if the Dark Knight movie hadn't existed, and you just showed me that Tommy Wiseau version of that scene
pretty good.
as a trailer for a movie, I'd be like,
God damn.
Just like I could see this movie because that writing is just so beautiful.
It's solid. It's really good. Okay, I'm gonna rattle off a few names. Okay, the Joker, obviously. Darth Vader, good villain. Very imposing. I think in the 80s, like he made a big difference. I think it's David Prowse in the suit.
But I think it's the same thing of with Thanos, people talking him up.
Yeah, the prequels kind of helped also define his role better.
Oh, totally. Like, but I mean, he was the meanest, baddest by the time Empire came out, and that's mainly because of what Obi-Wan had told Luke about him.
Empire is his movie. Like that's the Darth Vader movie.
And it's because the entire time, anytime Luke and Obi-Wan have a minute, they're only talking about Vader and being like, oh, Vader was my people. Oh, Vader killed these people. Oh, Vader was a thing. He killed your dad. He killed your dad. He killed your dad. He killed your dad. He was such a bad guy, such a bad guy, such a bad guy. And then when you meet him, you're like, oh shit, you're the bad guy.
Yeah,
he's like, no,
true.
I am.
So you're talking about like organic villains versus like
legend and
legend,
lore. Yeah, like Voldemort.
Yeah, he's next on the list.
He's built up well before we even see a physical embodiment of him.
Yeah, but he's a boy when he's already in power before Harry, the main hero, is like born.
At the end of the first book, the first time we see him, if I'm not mistaken,
he's on the back
of some dude's head, which is really stupid. But when you do see him finally, after like 200 pages...
When Ray Fiennes basically kind of also embodies him also in the movies.
Yeah, but it's just that it's been 200 pages of just hearing about this guy.
Yeah.
And then when you finally see him, even though he's a stupid head and nothing more, he's basically Zordon from Power Rangers. He's not stupid. He's imposing because you've heard so much talk about the legend, and then like what he delivers just verbally is backed up with just amazing writing.
That's true.
So he just has to say stuff to you, and you've heard so much about the dude, like, oh wow, you are scary because you say that stuff really well.
Agreement. And I think for me in the books, he's obviously really very scary, but like I love Ray Fiennes, man, and I think he hams it up so good, but it's excellent. Jack Torrance from The Shining.
I've never seen The Shining.
Off.
I told you I'm not a horror dude.
It's not. It is so horror. Yeah, it's great. But what you've done? What? Here comes Jackie. Like here comes Johnny actually. But yeah.
With Jackie Schroff.
His name is Jack.
Here comes Jackie.
Yeah, anyway, okay, I'm gonna move on. Oh, hello. This is a really good one. Magneto. What do you think?
I love Magneto.
Yeah, but do you love Magneto or do you love Ian McKellen? Both different things. Actually, I love Fassbender, man.
I do love Fassbender.
He's really good.
He did it damn well.
Man, he is awesome. Yeah. Why did they
You know, the standout scene in my head, if I just have to think about it on like drop of a hat, the one scene for Magneto as Fassbender's Magneto that stands out is in the weakest film.
In Apocalypse. Man, so good.
Scene in the forest.
So good.
Where they kill the little kid.
And they kill all of them. All of them are dead except for him.
It's such a bad movie. But
that's the, when the movie starts, it starts with that scene, right? Like it's early in the film.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is going to be fucking epic, this movie. And then it's Oscar.
It's just not.
Oh God.
It is just not.
That could well be the biggest drop in a movie I've ever seen from that scene, which is quality.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true.
To Oscar Isaac learning from the television screen. All right, here we go. This is one of my personal favorites because I love this. Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith.
Ooh. Yeah, same deal. Stoic. You just heard a lot about these guys.
Yeah. No, I mean,
they've been, as in they get talked up.
Yeah.
When
he's so memorable. He may not be a great villain, but he's very iconic, I'd say also. With the way he looks and
because
everything.
I how do I put it?
Mr. Anderson.
Remember the Ninja Turtles had the Foot Soldiers, the Foot Clan.
We're going to get to that. That's a special part of the end of the episode. But,
well, then I will refrain.
But we're going to talk about our favorite henchmen. The unsung heroes that make every villain look great. Behind every good villain is like 800 disposable henchmen.
What is
and henchwomen.
What is a hench?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Janam, could you Google what a hench is, please?
She's doing it. She's on it. What about the T-1000?
Oh my God.
Terminator 2.
Yes.
Doesn't say a word.
Same thing as Mr. Smith.
But he doesn't speak much.
Except the speaking.
He's just menacing. I think that's
just an unstoppable
the way he
force.
Runs.
He's literally just an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
Much like Mr. Smith. You think you've killed one. Oh, wait, no, there are 100 more where that came from.
So hench is a strong, fit and having well-developed muscles.
Oh, God. Strong, fit, having developed strong muscles.
That's also sometimes the exact opposite of what henchmen end up being. Sometimes henchmen are
very disposable
and not strong of it.
So, okay, we're gonna, you know what? I was gonna name one more villain and then we'd go to the henchmen. So let's just do this. Have you seen No Country for Old Men?
I have not.
Okay. So Javier Bardem plays Anton Chigurh in that, and he's solid, really good. Okay. He's kind of very two-facey in that because he's got a coin. But anyway, any notable villains before we?
Ursula.
Oh, we were supposed to go through our Disney villains. Actually, let's do that at the end of the episode because we're going to talk about Halloween.
This is anarchy.
This is anarchy, like a good villain would want.
Hench me up.
All right. Favorite henchman. So this is a difficult one because, the moment we saw the Chitauri in the Avengers, I figured that, oh, okay, cool. I get what your purpose is. Your purpose is to show that the hero can knock off a few. It's for good action sequences.
All it is. Yeah.
So good action sequences. And they recreated that in Ultron with the Ultron robots, right? Like all of them. And then we got the Outriders in Infinity War.
Yes.
So we need a good quantity of villains. Out of these henchmen that you've seen across the game, which ones are your favorite and why?
You know who uses henchmen pretty well?
Yeah.
The Arkham games.
Perfect.
What I like about them is
Very good.
Especially in Arkham, Knight? The last one.
The last one.
But
I've not finished it.
Yeah, neither have I. I'm still in the middle of it.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I'm crawling through it.
Me too.
So what I like about it a lot is that as you go through all the side missions and you meet all the different villains who have their henchmen under them.
Correct.
You, therefore, obviously, you're working with the Joker / towards the Joker in some way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But there are 10 other side villains, right? Everyone from the Riddler to Firefly to this guy to that guy and everybody in between.
Yeah.
And they have their henchmen below them.
Right.
So every time you end up back at GCPD, which you often do, you have to walk down past the past the prisons.
Correct.
And so you just see them fill up. As you've defeated one side mission's plot line, you then see all of those henchmen in the ward. And then you finish another one, you see another batch, right? So what I like is as you're playing through the game, he sort of accumulates a little bit of guilt of holy crap, what have I the entire city is in this. I've locked up the entire city.
It is a big part of Gotham, right? It's not the whole of the city, but it's bigger than Arkham City map.
Right, it's a big. Basically, what I'm getting at is that I love that they've used the henchmen not only as action sequences for you, people for you to beat up, but it's also it has there is a
ethical value.
It has ethical value. It's repercussion for if you're gonna beat up 100 people, you have to feel bad about beating up 100 people.
But they were bad to begin with.
But then
they made that choice. Oh, this is like the line from Dark Knight.
What?
The two boats.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So I like that the henchmen have more to them than just the one punch and then they're gone. They have some lasting value.
Yeah, so in Spider-Man it's so I just finished that, and in that also the henchmen. I mean, henchmen are really great for games.
Yeah.
Because obviously you get to see a hierarchy and then you know different things. But I think in the movies when it comes to and we've cursed this movie enough, but in Batman vs Superman I really enjoyed that dream sequence with the parademons. I always thought that was kind of weird. That scene particularly was really well done and it was cool. And I always thought they were good villains until Justice League, and then it was just nonsense, right? But I don't think anyone's nailed the henchmen even in the Avengers films, right? It's just in Winter Soldier and all, it's S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Those are the bad guys. But and you're always just gonna need fodder for people.
Right.
But Ninja Turtles, the cartoon.
I was going to say Rocksteady and Bebop, I think, are the best henchmen.
And the foot soldiers. Remember,
okay.
The foot soldiers, which are Shredder's foot soldiers.
Totally.
Like when I think henchmen, that's like the first thing I think of.
Really?
Foot soldiers.
I think of Rocksteady and Bebop.
I think it's because I used to play the 16-bit, the NES
Likewise.
game, and in the Turtles, that's how you have to beat up Rocksteady, Bebop, and all these guys. Solid. So we have a good set of henchmen. Who else uses henchmen?
A lot of people, man.
What Stormtroopers? Are Stormtroopers the iconic henchmen?
Yes. Like horrible aim. They're just meant for you to shoot at as opposed to being shooting you. They never hit you. So
worst. But very iconic.
Yeah.
The helmet, the Stormtrooper helmet and the guys
nonsense.
is so popular. Like people may not have seen Star Wars, but they know the Stormtrooper.
It's 21st century samurai.
Yeah.
It's literally a samurai helmet design.
It is a samurai.
Vader's more so, but the Stormtroopers too.
The style of it. Do you prefer classic Stormtrooper over new Stormtrooper, yes?
Classic, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Classic.
Goes without saying.
The
guards in Last Jedi are pretty good as well. Man, that scene is like fucking great.
Seeing them finally get in on the action was so cathartic.
That was very satisfying.
Cathartic.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It hit all the right buttons.
Yes. Awesome.
But I was going to say another set of henchmen that are iconic for their personality traits, much like Rocksteady and Bebop, that I love, are the hyenas in Lion King.
Oh, good transition also, because we're going to talk about our Disney villains.
Yep.
We're doing a Disney tribute. So, are we doing any...
There's a tribute or what? What's happening?
1 second. Are we doing any villain songs in this thing?
I don't think so.
Man, we gotta do one villains. I mean, like, some of the best villains have a song. Like, be prepared.
Like, Jesus, what's it? Ursula's one.
Come on, this is your
that's
film,
my jam.
dog.
It's my jam.
For those of you who don't know, The Little Mermaid is Jishnu's favorite Disney film. It's okay. Ursula's song.
What's it called?
You're just another fish in the sea.
What? Oh my God, what's it called?
Just another deja vu. What the hell?
Oh my God,
it's okay. Janam's already on it.
How am I like
poor unfortunate?
My God, poor unfortunate me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's
good song.
Let's move on.
Hey, do all the Disney villains have a song?
Yes, it's imperative.
Is it? You got it right.
It's in the contract.
Did you see Moana?
No, I have not.
So it's a good one by by a crab who's a giant crab who collects it's like a magpie. It collects like shiny things.
Any relation to Sebastian?
No, actually that would have been great though.
Yeah.
But so he's called Tamatoa, and he collects, and he has a song called Shiny, which is a direct rip off, like it's like a Bowie song, and it's sung by this guy Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords. He plays Tamatoa, and it's so funny. And we've spoken about this before, but in the Hindi version of the film, Bappi Lahiri kind of like plays him, and it's called Shona.
Amazing.
And it made sense because he's all about the jewels, all about the bling. Anyway, give me your favorite Disney villain, man.
Ursula.
Ursula is your favorite Disney? Why?
My God.
Yeah, give us your reasoning.
Because octopi/squid are the scariest things on this planet, probably.
Okay, from pure menacing, but what about agenda? What is her agenda? She wants to take the throne from Triton.
Yeah. And she's got that garden of just dying souls.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is what? Like, her pets are just... She doesn't just kill you and, like, see you, like, smell you later. No, she will suck your soul and then keep you in her private garden and then just look at you.
Damn. That's like Hades, though. In Hercules, James Woods plays Hades, and he has obviously the souls of the dead.
Speaking of, very, very, very mildly related. Meg, is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah, Meg.
Megara.
Yeah, from Hercules. Probably one of my least favorite Disney princesses. Because
she's so cool, though.
She's just trouble. She just walks up in there and just like messes with status quo.
And she deceives him also.
And just ruins his happiness.
She does. But she still saves her. But that's the mark of a true hero, dog.
Yeah,
that's why they can't cut his thread. Because he's a god.
Good movie.
Yeah, great
movie. Good everything. But
it.
she is by far the most problematic. Like, she just enters and messes. She just messes things up more so than most of the princesses do in the Disney pantheon.
Let me review this in my head for a second.
Sleep on that.
You may be right.
Sleep on it. She's just trouble. That's all she is.
And the opposite of her is Nala, who handles the entire kingdom while this boy is away.
We don't have enough time to get into this because I can do an entire episode of my thoughts on Nala.
So, Ursula, I want to give you my favorite Disney villain.
Okay.
Here goes. You ready? I got nothing. I want to say Scar. I think Scar is pretty good.
Is number 2 for me.
Yeah. He's pretty great. Also, you can't go wrong with Jeremy Irons, man.
Also, I don't think there's any single move by any Disney villain that is more impactful than Scar killing Mufasa.
Oh my freaking God, yes. Of course.
He's
the best.
There is no other scene that tops that in terms of menacing. Like, holy crap, this guy is not to be messed with.
Though, having said that, I mean, yeah, of course, that is absolutely tragic. But having seen recently, I mean, a couple of years ago, I saw Went for Beauty and the Beast, the live version of the Broadway musical that they did here in Bombay. And the guy who played Gaston was so good. Yeah. He was excellent. And he was better than the Beast. The Beast was kind of like cool. The Belle, whoever played Meher, I can't remember.
Yeah, Meher.
Excellent. She is a Disney princess. Amazing.
Awesome.
But Gaston was so good. Like, he was like, it's like lifted from the screen. It was great. Yeah, awesome. Really, really good. So let's wrap it at that. Disney tribute happening at Super Scary Awesome, a Halloween gig and party at Above the Habitat in Bombay. Please come for it. Buy your tickets on Insider. Thanks, Jishnu, for being here. We should talk about why Dinkar's not here today. And I was trying to make a Disney...
Is this news to you?
No, I know. No, I'm just saying, like, I wanted to make a villain reference here. That because you hate Chip Review. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's it.
Okay. Just letting people know.
Let it slide.
Don't follow the Chip Review.
At the Chip Review.
At the Chip Review.
Yes. If you have any suggestions, if you have missed anybody, which I'm sure we have, in terms of villains, let us know. Write to us. contactgeekfruit@gmail.com is our email address. You can find us on social media at GeekFruitHQ on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And see you guys at the Halloween game. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Let me sneak in one thing.
What?
Nala, just for the record.
Solid.
No.
Then?
Everything was going great. Life was all Hakuna Matata. And then she had to come in and break that trio down to 2. Just gonna say it.
She's Yoko, you're saying?
She's completely Yoko.
1 second.
The movie could have ended with Hakuna Matata and everybody would be fine.
No, but that's what the whole movie's about.
Pride Rock is cool and all. Yes,
you
Pride
can't
Rock is
run
cool.
away from you can't change your past.
No. Pride Rock is cool and all. They got their own thing going.
Dude, you saw the halat of it.
No, it's all fine.
When
it's
he
all
went
fine.
back.
But Hakuna Matata means no worries.
For the rest of your days? I think not.
And then this
but then we wouldn't have got Elton John's
this little dame.
Can you feel
and sung by some random woman
tonight?
Why is Elton John not singing it? Who's this random female that's singing it?
She doesn't they both sing it, dog.
But that's the thing. Why is this woman singing it? Let Elton do it.
But Elton.
See? Okay. So for the record,
I don't agree with this.
Nala is not to be trusted.
Hey, why you don't trust any of these Disney
Alright, thanks,
princesses?
Bye.
Bye, Yunods.
Have you gotten yourself a gym membership and shown up only a few times? Are long working hours cutting your fitness goals short? How about you change things a little? Even a small effort can make a big difference. And I'll tell you how and what exactly. Hi guys, I'm Coach Urmi, and on the Kinetic Living podcast, you can look forward to some interesting stories of people who have changed the way they look at fitness after their kinetic journeys. Episodes out every Wednesday on the IVM app, website, and anywhere you get your podcast from.
Give me a word. या कोई भी लाइन. कुछ भी हो सकता है यार. क्या कहा आपने? टोपी. Okay. Mohan Joshi hated wearing topis. He felt suffocated in them. टोपी पहनते ही उसे स्कूल की याद आती थी. Where of course he had no choice but to wear a टोपी. वह जिस दिन पास आउट हुआ, उसी दिन उसने अपनी टोपी का bonfire बना दिया. And since then, he'd never worn a cap or a hat. ना कड़कती धूप में, and not even to बचो from the ठंडी. But from Monday 26th February, Mohan Joshi had to wear a topi all the time. Why? Because if he didn't, everyone around him knew exactly what क्या सोच रहा था. They knew that he was wondering how the girl in the yellow churidar would look बिना कपड़े के. They knew when he was calling the boss a सड़ेला टमाटर. They knew everything. पर ये सब हुआ कैसे? अरे भाई, यही तो स्टोरी है. और ये स्टोरी आप ही ने मुझे दिया by giving me the starting word. यही तो है The Croc's Tales. Words आपके, कहानी आपके लिए. Catch the stories on Monday and Thursday on the IVM website, app, and anywhere you get your podcast from. See you soon.